Well, last night I heard that Gaddafi died. You know, the dictator of Libya? Well, well, I read about more of it today, and what I'm understanding is that the United States is trying to claim responsibility for this guy's death. But the facts don't really support any claim the United States can have on it. All the evidence I've seen indicates that Libyan rebels killed Gaddafi. But enough about that. Anyway, Muammar Gaddafi's death proves that 1. Revolutions can be and still are successful, and 2. If you oppress your people long enough without giving them a way to vent their frustrations, you will lose control of your country. So what does this mean for America? I guess that's what the next question is going to be. Well, it means that we should follow Libya's example and revolt. We won't have to wait too long. Have you seen the footage that came out of the Occupy Wall Street protests all across the country? Just because the police aren't spilling your blood doesn't mean for a second that they would hesitate to do so if their masters thought they could get away with it. Gaddafi did, and look how that turned out for him. I mean, these cops are basically arresting people for no good reason, and a similar movement that attempted to establish itself on the other side of the country, I think it was either in Los Angeles or somewhere in Arizona, was cracked down upon just because the protesters didn't leave the park when it closed. Our rights have been largely ignored thanks to things like the Patriot Act. Our ability to protest where people can hear us is encumbered by Bush's free speech zones. It's gotten so bad that even our ability to complain is hampered by people who won't let us speak. But enough about the rest of the country. Now I'd like to talk to any U.S. government employee who happens to be watching this video. I warn you, if you want the current U.S. government to stay in power, do not make the same mistake that Gaddafi made. Stop trying to quell protests before they turn violent. A lot of people see you as the bad guys, but I see the way the U.S. government is right now as a product of the people's collective stupidity. I agree with you. They can't make the right decision for themselves because they don't care about themselves enough to do so. They elected you because you appealed the most to their ignorance. Now, I'm not saying for a minute that you don't deserve your place in this government. After all, people voted for you, your boss's friend, or whoever you know who happens to have a seat in Congress or a bedroom at the White House. What I am saying is that you were unfortunate enough to get into the government only to find out that almost everyone who sees what you do and examines it will find something to hate about you. That's why so many people jumped on Obama's bandwagon when he was running for president and why so many people fell off. Let me explain. Before he began his campaign, Barack Obama was definitely not well known. I think we can all agree on that. People at that point were tired of Bush's bullshit and wanted to change from it all. And that's what Obama promised to provide and failed to fulfill. Under him, we killed Osama bin Laden, yet the war in Iraq escalated. He didn't close Guantanamo Bay's infamous prison. His health care bill was destroyed by sold-out politicians and numerous mistruths, and his bailout didn't help at all. I implore you, if you happen to be re-elected, please keep the following things in mind during your term. 1. Don't be afraid of controversy. If you happen to believe that abortion should be mandated for some groups or classes of people, don't be afraid to shout it from the highest mountaintops. Just be prepared to argue for your position with clear, well-thought-out arguments. 2. Don't discourage debate. Even in this enlightened age, not everyone can have the floor. I'm pretty sure both houses of Congress and even the President's cabinet have their ideological pariahs. If your worldview is so truthful and binding, then you should be able to handle criticism to that worldview. All you governmental types should have at least some intelligence. If you didn't, you wouldn't have been elected. You should not discourage debate in order to ensure peace amongst yourselves. 3. Follow through on your campaign promises. Now what the fuck is stopping you on this one? Do you think people are going to revolt if you close Guantanamo Bay? Do you think we'll throw a fit if you get us out of Iraq? Most of you got elected based on your campaign promises, so why don't you fulfill them? That's not the way to get reelected, folks. 4. Don't pass laws against or even publicly defend things that tamper with your citizens' rights. The United States of America has a Constitution and a Bill of Rights. Both of these documents are meant to protect certain rights that our Founding Fathers thought to be so very important to their everyday lives that they needed laws to protect them. I'm pretty sure that it was eventually decided that the Bill of Rights and the Constitution were made to be the ultimate law of the land, which every state and the federal government must abide by. So every part of the United States should follow these two documents. All these suggestions are reasonable, and are what a functioning, respectable government does, and what you are not doing. I still want you to be in power, and you still can be. You just have to work to promote life, liberty, and happiness for the common man. That's what this government was made to do, but it's not doing it. Your final supporter, William Patrick Hitler.